You got a flipping exorcism on a train, right? Now, I've known Jon for a long time, so while this both surprises me and doesn't surprise me at the same time, how did you decide this was something you wanted to be a part of?
Well, the character, the backstory of the character, her relationship with her father, really spoke to me. I loved it. There's so much suspense, drama, thriller, horror genre going on. I thought it was really unique. And then, when Jon Keeyes, I found out he was directing, I was like, hell yes, this is going to be amazing. And, I feel like we make a really good team.
Yep.
That's awesome. So I know how you feel about risk, but when you saw this movie, there's a little bit of risk to it, but I know you're kind of excited by it. Is that fair to say?
I love risk. I love risk. Well, and that's the thing is, as a storyteller, you want to take risks. You want to find material that you haven't done before. You want to show people something they haven't done before. And basically we've got a addicted nun who's lost her faith, dealing with her father, dealing with a pseudo father in Bill Macy. Catholic father and kind of adopted father. And, then tackling things like a warrior nun and a female doing an exorcism. And, I love female-driven movies, and I love that. And just seeing what all we can do. And I mean, Katie and I spent so much time talking about addictions and, my past with addictions and how you kind of deal with those things when you're caught up in the middle of it. And so getting to see a journey like that in a movie that's nerdy horror like this, I had to do it.
Yeah, it's so fun. I mean, it's hard, but it's fun. It's emotional, but again, it keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it's just exciting.
And this is a first female exorcism. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
When you want to say
nuns aren't allowed to perform exorcisms.
Direct line from the movie.
Yep.
Direct line.
That's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to shift just a little bit because nobody's yelling at me to get rid of you or move you down the line. Anyway, so I feel like both of you are going to be really savvy with this question, but it's kind of bombed a couple times when I've asked people about it because personal brand is kind of such a buzzword right now. Like everybody's, you got to have your brand, you've got to have your brand, you've got to have your brand. But you have a production company. You grew up watching a brand. What are your thoughts as far as moving it forward, being in an industry that can kind of chew you up? Like, how do you decide what to do? Or do you even think about brand when you are choosing roles? Do they just speak to you?
It's more about honestly, being true to yourself and authenticity for me. And for me, I've been in the industry for a long time. I come from a family that's been in the industry, and I want to continue to grow and evolve, and not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera. And this is the first feature I produced, and you learn as you go, and I think that's what's most important to me. I don't necessarily look at it from the outside looking in. I just try to be as true to myself as I can and continue on my journey, and that's my brand, whether you like it or not.
I love that. Do you want to add to that?
I mean, as a director, I think it's a little different, just in that, there's the brands, the obvious brands like Tim Burton, that's an obvious brand. And then there's, others that just want to make good movies. Spielberg, there is no real Spielberg brand. He just makes incredible movies. I started off in horror. I've come back to horror. That was what I was known for. I've gotten to do action. So if my brand's genre, I'm happy to embrace that as long as I'm making movies. That's really what it's all about, is embracing that.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you a Jon Keeyes story. Move in just a smidge because you're on the edge of the frame, and then you can tell me one of yours. Because there was one time I was in one of his films, and he came up and he looked at me and he was like, "Gah, can you get some more blood over here? There's not enough."
Mm-hmm. Love that.
And I was covered in it already.
I love that.
We poured buckets of blood over her, and it still wasn't enough.
Oh, yeah, it's never enough blood. Honestly, so we as actors have a personal life too. And I'm totally professional. I think there's been 2 or 3 times in my life where I've had a personal crisis happen and I still have to go perform that day on set. And ironically, during this movie, it happened to be a huge day for me. Wildfires happening near my home. I have pets. My brain went to mush, and I started to panic. And I went to him, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I don't know if I should ever be telling anybody this story, but it's just authentic and true. And he was so supportive and was like, "I got you. I will. We will figure this out together. Just like stay calm and like ground yourself." And like he helped me through it, and I felt so safe just as an actor, as a creative, as a storyteller. And I don't know if I've ever really been that vulnerable with somebody who I hadn't known so long, but I felt so safe with him. And it did help me like, okay, I'm going to get through this too. And focus as much as and we figured it out, and it worked out, and it was great. And so thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know if I've ever said how much that meant to me.
You're very welcome.
I was really freaking out.
How many days were you guys on a train?
The whole time?
11 days.
11 days.
Yeah.
12.
Was it an actual train or was it
12 days of shooting? Was it?
It was 12 days of shooting. We were on for 11.
Yeah.
No, it was it was two train car sets. They built two train car sets, and we basically just kept redressing it. We go from coach while they redressed the first class into something else. We'd jump into there, shoot that while they were redressing coach into something else, and yeah, so two train cars and a locomotive.
That's amazing.
It's incredible, and green screen the entire time.
All right, last question. Best day, craziest day on set? Well, technically two, but I'm going to squeeze it in anyway.
For me, best day was The Other World. There's a couple of sequences in the movie where Sister Lou sidesteps into the other world, and we got to do some crazy atmospheric lighting stuff I had this when I read the script. That image was in my head the entire time, and Austin, my DP, Eric Whitney, production design, was there, and we recreated that, and it was exactly the way I wanted it, and that was, for me, one of the best days. And then with what's going on in those scenes, the performances were incredible, because it's probably some of the highest drama that goes on in the movie.
Okay.
I'd say that the day that I mentioned earlier was one of the best days and worst days, but also this stuff with my father in the other world was pretty incredible.
That's amazing. I'm so excited for this, you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Yeah, absolutely.